Welcome back, everybody. Let's say hello to our friend John Baptiste. Hello, John.
Hey, man. Whew, we in a spot right now, ain't we?
We are, first of all, as we speak, there's landfall for Hurricane Laura
Yeah.
down in western Louisiana. Do you
Hmm.
know how things are for your family down in Kenner, your home community down
Yep.
there?
Yep. I've been texting with them and calling with them. Luckily, they're doing fine. They've been blessed to be just on the outskirts of the hurricane, but those folks down Lake Charles and in Beaumont is pummeling us, man. We can't deal with another one. So just everybody put your prayers in the air. We need it right now. We really do. Whew.
John, you played the national anthem at the opening of the NBA season this year, just about a
Yes.
month ago.
Yep. Yep.
Um, do, do you know what happened? You know what happened with the Bucks tonight and the whole league
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and Kenny Smith.
Absolutely.
Did
It,
you see that?
yes, an incredible human, vulnerable moment, truly. And I think that it's something that's necessary to happen when people have this platform to really impact minds and hearts. You can you can make a statement like this, and I'm just so proud to be a part of this season, starting with the anthem and now to see the NBA go in this historic direction. It's something that I really feel blessed to have been a part of, and I think we got to keep going. The battle is still going. The battle continues.
Um, well, John, uh, I'm about to speak to Nancy Pelosi about all of this. Could
Hmm.
could you play something to transition us into the Speaker of the House, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you, John. John Baptiste, everybody. Folks, my guest tonight is the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Please welcome back to a late show, Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Madam Speaker, thank you so much for being here.
I wish I could say my pleasure. I always would look forward to this,
Yeah.
except as you say, as you listed earlier, a hurricane that is described as perhaps unsurvivable. In California, fires described as Armageddon, a pandemic affecting so many people. And again, what happened in Kenosha just breaks your heart. I love what John said too. We have to have our prayers in the air. Very prayerful time. So sad.
It absolutely is, and it's people of goodwill and people of conscience to think about how far they're willing to go in the direction that our country is being dragged right now. I want to thank you for being here. I don't ever want to take for granted that we have the opportunity to speak to the Speaker of the House. So thank you for being here. This is an honor. I want to talk to you for a moment about. I did not watch the RNC tonight because I don't know why I will give air to their lies again. But I suppose I'll try tomorrow again and see if I can get through it. What have you made of the week so far?
Well, I've been busy with my day job, which extends into the night because California is, as you know, goes on for 3 more hours.
Hmm?
So I was too busy to watch, and that was okay with me because I try not to get rid of my negative attitudes, and that only just provokes them more to watch the misrepresentations that are there, the disrespect for people. It's really sad. Uh, Quite a contrast to what we did last week, just from the start with the roll call to see the beautiful diversity of America, the pride of place that people had in their states across the country. So I'd rather think in a more positive way, not to dwell on them, but to think in a more forward way.
I'm happy to leave the discussion of the RNC, but I just have to ask you one question. This is a rumor that's going around at the RNC. Is Joe Biden a Trojan horse, and you're inside pulling all the levers because they've painted a picture?
To their peril, they underestimate Joe Biden. He's going to be a great president of the United States. He has a vision for our country which is very positive, respectful of the dignity and worth of every person. He has knowledge of the issues, which is something that they are also lacking, knowledge and judgment. He always thinks in a strategic way about how to get things done. I've seen him in action in terms of his vice presidency, passing the Affordable Care Act, enforcing ARA, the Recovery Act. And again, all of these things, vision, knowledge, judgment, strategic thinking are important, but what's really important is what's in his heart and his authenticity and his connection, his empathy for the American people is something that they probably wouldn't even recognize, could never identify with, and are very different from Joe Biden on. So they will say what they will say, but we will do what we will do. As I said, we don't agonize, we organize, and we must organize to make sure that he is the next president of the United States.
Now, in your speech, you talked about the centennial of the 19th Amendment, which, of course, is giving women the right to vote. Today is the anniversary of it actually being added to the Constitution. As the first female Speaker of the House, or just as an American woman, what does this day mean to you?
It means a great deal. That's why I'm wearing purple. Purple, white, and yellow were the colors of the suffragettes. Actually, out of my window, I see the Kennedy Center, which is lit up in purple and yellow in honor of this important day. And 100 years ago, when it happened, Stephen, they said, the headline said, women given the right to vote. Well, women weren't given anything. They worked, they struggled, they fought, they marched, they starved, they were starved, and they won the right to vote. It took 75 years at least, and we stand on their shoulders right now observing the 100th anniversary. And I think it's pretty exciting that there's a woman Speaker of the House. I think it's pretty exciting that we have over 100 women in the House of Representatives, 105, 90 of them Democrats, because we made that decision. And it's exciting that we have a woman nominated for Vice President of the United States, who will most likely be, I feel quite certain, the Vice President of the United States. So we're observing it in the right way.
I still have a little, I have flashbacks to 2016 when everybody gets too confident. So let's all
No,
just
we don't take anything for granted. I'm with you all
Please.
the way. That's why you have to assume nothing.
assume nothing.
Assume
Okay.
nothing.
Okay. So here's one of the reasons why the 100th anniversary actually gives me some hope for our country, however bad things may be at any given time. And certainly there are a lot of crises the country is facing right now, is that my mom was born 3 days after women could vote the first time. And November 2nd of 1920 was the federal election that year. And she was born 3 days later. And so essentially in the lifetime of my mother, women voting was perfectly normal, when right before that, it was unthinkable to so many people. Within one generation, something that can seem never achievable can be taken as a natural given of the American experience. What are the things that you think right now that we think of as unachievable, or many people do, that we have a chance of making acceptable and normal within American society and politics in this next generation?
Well, let's just go back to your mom first for a moment. How wonderful that she was blessed to be born at a time when women achieved the right to vote. But that doesn't mean that it was over. We still have work to do. We stand on the shoulders of these women who were so courageous. But whether it was Seneca Falls or Selma or Stonewall, we still have heroes who worked through all of that and have shown us a path forward. So we want to remove all doubt that our elections will be free and fair, that there won't be manipulated or question the veracity of, or scare people with intimidation of who's going to be showing up at the polls to watch who's voting and the rest. So we have work to do to protect the vote. So again, when we win, some of the things that may have seemed inevitable to some to us seemed inevitable, but to others seems inconceivable. We want to shorten the distance between the inevitable and inconceivable. For example, we have the Equality Act to remove all discrimination against LGBTQ members of that society. And just think back what has happened. We have marriage equality now. That's a giant step forward, but we still have challenges ahead that legislation can take care of.
Madam Speaker, I have to take a quick commercial break, but please don't go away, and don't you go away at home, because we'll be right back with more Nancy Pelosi. Sorry, man, we just had to take away for just a second. We'll be right back.